I'm feeling like a brand new me. For the very first time, I'm right where I'm meant to be. Brand new.
Welcome to Outsmart the Hustle, where we turn hard work into smart work, helping you focus on the high-impact moves that drive your business forward without getting stuck in the grind.
Everyone, this is Ray Myers. He is a professional EOS implementer, and he's an amazing business coach for so many businesses in the DFW area and beyond, correct? Mm-hmm. So, Ray, if you don't mind, could you introduce yourself to the audience real quick?
Absolutely. My kind of 60-second version of the story. I've been an entrepreneur all my life. I was actually raised by an entrepreneurial family, an entrepreneurial community. I started my first business at the age of 14. And at the time, I was the youngest legally recognized business owner in the state of Texas. So it was just kind of baked into my blood. And it went on. I've started 9 different companies. Some of them have been amazing successes. Some have been total train wrecks. And I learned a lot more from the train wrecks than I did from the successes. And during my last software company is whenever I ran into the entrepreneurial operating system, EOS. It was kind of a love at first sight thing. It's like, here's a book that takes all the things I've done well and all the mistakes I've made and just makes it into a simple, easy to follow process. So when I retired about a month ago,
Congrats.
I'm very happy about that. It's a fun feeling. I wanted something to do. My heart's always gone out to entrepreneurs. So now this is what I do. I work with small businesses, 10 to 200 employees. And if they're frustrated, they're not getting what they want out of their business, I know how to fix that now. And it's very fun. It is very rewarding. And I'm having a blast with it.
Very cool. So how I met Ray was a little unlikely. You would think like, oh yeah, you did it because you need like business coaching or something. I wish I could have said that, but actually it's probably even cooler. Ray is in a cover band and they're now called Live Radio.
That's correct.
And they weren't at the time, but now they're Live Radio. So you can look them up and listen to them. They're absolutely amazing. And he's the keyboard player.
I play keyboards.
And when he messaged me, he's like, well, I'm a business coach and I need some testimonial videos. You did the video for my cover band. And I was like, stop. This is amazing.
You did such a good job.
Thank you. Thank you. And so we now have done his videos for his EOS website, YouTube. And I know Ray as a very credible business coach. He knows what he's talking about. And I was like, how cool would it be if you got on our podcast and just talked about just some of the amazing things that you know, just guiding all of your business owners. And I know that a lot of us listening to this podcast are solopreneurs. So Ray is like high level, you guys. Like the things that he teaches are so high level where I feel like if we just jumped right into that, it would be like drinking out of a fire hose. So one of the questions I get asked in my coaching program is, how do I know how to hire the right person and when to hire the right person? And Ray, we did a video with you about the right person in the right seat. So we're going to give you guys just a little sneak peek of what Ray is capable of teaching you guys for up-leveling your business. And he's going to be a speaker at our workshop December 2nd through the 5th. And so you don't want to miss out on that, especially if you're a VIP. We got some cool things that Ray is dropping into your swag bags for you. So definitely you don't want to miss out on what he's about to drop there.
And I'm looking forward to it as well.
Yes. All right. So right people in the right seats. Like,
Sure.
Where do we get started in terms of finding that person? When I am telling people who to hire first, I'm typically telling them, hire an editor, right? Like, get out of the non-money revenue generating tasks in your business. Because as a business owner, you're just going to step into that role. You can't be behind the screen all the time.
And then that's one of the hardest leaps for entrepreneurs to make. You're good at your job. There's a reason that you did this. You know what you're doing. And it's very hard to duplicate yourself, to replicate yourself, to come along. But if you don't make the effort to do that, then you'll never be able to scale. You're the only one who's capable of doing the work. What's sad is I run into businesses that have, just through the sheer energy of the founder, they've scaled and grown up to a larger client base, and maybe they have a staff of 10, but none of them share the vision. None of them were selected because of how well they align with your core values. You're hiring friends, you're hiring people that you hear about. You don't have a lot of money to deal with recruiters and things like that. So getting right people, that's different for every organization, whether it's a solopreneur or a large organization. Getting right people, the way I look at it, requires two things, not one, for the definition. Every single person that you talk to, you have to make sure that they're in alignment with your values. And yet core values are almost cliche these days, but the fundamental of why they're there is still extremely important. If honesty and integrity are important to you as a person, then you're only going to respect people who are honest and have integrity. If hardworking is important to you as a person, you're only going to respect people that are hardworking. So you need to decide what are those things that you personally value and write them down. And it needs to be a short list. And then that way you can ask questions during the interview process to make sure they're aligned with those. It's easy to go, hey, this person's a great videographer. They're just great at their job. I'll hire them and I'll figure out the personality later. It doesn't work. Yep. They become toxic to your culture. They become a pain in your side, and it's not a lot of fun. So that's right people. Right seats means that they're really good at their jobs. And whenever I define really good, I mean that they have a little missing chromosome or a gene or something in them that makes them so passionate about what they do. And it doesn't matter what that is. Are you sales? Are you business development? Are you a videographer? Are you an editor? Is that something that I've heard the joke said that if gets it is that feeling you get whenever a dog hears a doorbell. If the dog doesn't bark, he doesn't get it.
Right.
It's baked into his DNA. If you're religious, you say God gave it to them. Regardless, it is part of who you are. It is not something that you learned. Wants it means that you're excited about it and you're going to spend time staying current on it. If you don't want whatever this job description is, then you're going to do just enough to get by. And then a capacity to do it. So gets it, wants it, capacity to do it. The capacity to do it has to do with, do you have enough time to accomplish it? And that's a couple of things. One is, do you have the right skills so that it doesn't take you forever? You're not having to Google how to do everything or look it up on ChatGPT. But also, does it give you energy while you're doing it? Because that improves your capacity. So the two hiring mistakes that I see companies make all the time is not taking both of those very seriously. You can hire a person who is the right person. They check all the boxes. They align with your values. You love spending time with them, but they're just not good at your jobs. And this is particularly true whenever you're starting off and it's like you want to hire a friend or you want to hire a family member. Be careful. They need to be good at their jobs, or it'll end in, sad tragedy. You can do more damage than just the employment relationship.
Yeah, that's the last thing you want.
But then the other one is even more insidious. They're great at their jobs. They're just not a good person. They don't align with your values. And that will eat away at you day and night. And so as you grow and as you scale, when you bring on number 2, when you bring on number 3, you need to make it very clear from the beginning that both of those are really important. Now, the nice thing is when you do get somebody who does align with your core values and does really want and have the capacity to do their job, they know that everybody else who gets hired is going to be that way as well. And that gets them really excited. It's like, I am going to be surrounded by people who are like me. They're passionate about their jobs. They share my values. And anybody that doesn't have both of those isn't going to last very long here. And whenever you're starting off, you might say, I don't know if I have the time, the budget to be able to do that. And it's like, take your time. On those hires, particularly the first few, take your time and don't, just take whatever floats up to you. You'll end up regretting it. And it's easy to say this, as a solopreneur, but even bigger businesses have exactly the same problem. Could you imagine going to a director of sales and saying, your top performer doesn't align with our values here. She has to go.
That'd be so tough, but it's only temporary.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's only temporary. It's like, would you rather have this headache for the rest of your time here at this business, or spend just 3 months recuperating and finding the right person for the right seat?
Couldn't agree more.
Right?
And it's easy for us to say this in a nice kind of academic discussion conversation.
Look, why you should just do it? But they're like, but it's so hard, and it is, and it really is. So I feel very blessed to have Christina, our new hire for our operations position.
Yeah, she seems amazing.
She's amazing, right? Values, like right person. All the people that report to her love her. Like it was just great, but it took 3 months to hire the right person. And we said a lot of different no's and a lot of different rejection letters and a lot of rejection calls. Those suck.
Yeah.
But it's kind of part of the process, right?
And it's easier than firing.
Yes.
It still is.
It's still easier than firing because then you don't have to worry about, the payroll's already there. They already know the code to get in our office.
All that time you spent training them.
Yep, all the time. So it's definitely worth it to take the second to find out. But hire by your core values. I think some people don't even know what those are.
Yeah.
You know, especially solopreneurs. I feel like that's like they've been working for themselves. Like, why have they needed to have integrity like as like their core value? You know what I mean? So
and the main reason I say that you do is so that you can talk about it, and you can use that in the interview process, and you can use that to correct people, and they've got to be your core values. Because if you say integrity is one of your core values and then you do something duplicitous, then I'm never going to trust you.
Right.
If you say hardworking is a core value and you're lazy, that's not a core value. That's just something that you aspire to.
Yeah. So it's like inherently, like, who are you?
It comes from your core and it drives your decisions.
So good.
Yeah.
Yes.
I had one client. They just had their biggest quarter in the history of their company, and they were so excited. And I said, how much credit do you give to EOS for that? And they said EOS indirectly, it gets all of it. I said, but the biggest thing was we fired one person who didn't have our core values.
Wow.
And it changed the culture.
Nice.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. And it's like, yes, that's a pain. You got to deal with the operational lag and everything. But a few weeks later, you have your best quarter ever. And then, it could be a coincidence, but at the same time, they're saying, no, this is a weight lifted off our shoulders. We didn't realize how this person brought down the energy here. And I'm very proud of them for making that decision because it's a small company. They have a small, close-knit group of people. They don't fire a lot.
Yeah.
But everybody else, just like we told them, it's like the day they were gone, everybody's like, ding dong, the witch is dead. and it just completely changed the mood and the culture. One person.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, like, we might try to give our audience some sort of, I guess, guidance, because it's good that they have this knowledge now. What do they do with it? So when you're guiding, I think it's mostly, bigger teams or people who are looking to hire more. Now, for our solopreneur friends, they kind of, I hope, understand, like, yes, you should get out of the editing chair. Try to be more on the client-facing side of things as much as possible. They struggle with being introverted, usually. But what is the kind of, like, first piece of advice you would offer for someone struggling to hire or to hire past editing? Like the person who's struggling with that fear of, how do I trust somebody with my business? I hear this a lot.
So I would say if you've made strong hiring decisions based off what we just talked about, first of all, a lot of that problem does start to go away. Making a short list of very clearly defined things that this is what you are responsible for. And if you're not strong at delegating, which a lot of people are not,
Right.
Something that I've advised people to do that's worked really well for them is say one of the core elements of your job description, and we're going to measure it, is I need you to tell me every week one thing that I no longer do because you do it all now. I have been able to hand this one thing off to you. And to the extent that you as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, can elevate to the point that you're doing the things that you love to do, and all of the things that you don't love to do, you found somebody else who does love it.
Which is sometimes shocking.
Oh.
You're like, how could someone enjoy spreadsheets?
And yet there are people out there who do.
Yes.
I know a few of them. I'm not one of them.
I'm not either. But the cool thing is that there's always going to be this counterpart, and business is usually not successfully done alone. Usually, right?
If you're going to scale to any size, then no, it can't. Obviously, it can't just be you. It's really nice whenever it can start with a strong partner who is a complement to you, has very different job skills, very different motivations, but same values, very important. And then after that, you can decide what are the things that we need to move into other areas. Every business has to have some kind of a marketing and sales channel or you won't get any new business. Everybody has to have some form of operations because you've got to do the work. And then you've got some level of administration and finance and bookkeeping. Now, being really honest with yourself or with anybody else that's watching this, it's like, which ones of those are you really good at? And which ones do you want to get somebody into that seat as fast as you can? I hate accounting.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first thing I outsourced was our bookkeeping. Because
Yeah.
I was like, I can't trust myself come tax season that I'm not going to get audited if I do my own numbers.
Nope, I agree completely.
Yep.
I'm the same way.
Yep.
And every entrepreneur I knew started the business because they wanted to be their own boss. They wanted to make a lot of money. They wanted to set their own direction. And they wanted to have a great work-life balance. And it doesn't work out for most of them. They get trapped, they hit the ceiling, and they do what they've done all their life. They double down. It's like, I can break through the wall. I can do this because I am a super person.
We're all human.
Oh yeah, there's so many limits to it. And yeah, I know so many entrepreneurs, they say, yeah, but I prove it wrong all the time. I did it. I broke through the ceiling on my own. It's like, there's just going to be another ceiling later on.
It's like a skyscraper.
Yeah.
You got through level 2.
One of the best pieces of business advice that I got decades ago. So if you want to be successful, hire people who are smarter than you are and pay them less than you make. And they go together that way. And the reason is this isn't a greedy thing. This is the fact you're the one who's out taking the risk. You're the one who's out building this business. And they're the one who has a nice, cushy job. And that's great because that's what a lot of people want. They just want a really good place to work. They don't want to have to take chances and make all of the big decisions. But you're wired differently. A lot of, every entrepreneur is wired differently. They get a charge out of taking those risks. They get a energy out of feeling driven. They are selflessly responsible, the really good ones. And I don't mean responsible like I check all of the boxes and I dot all of the I's and I cross all of the T's, but I mean responsible when something goes wrong, they look in the mirror. This is where the buck stops. I'm the final authority. I'm not going to blame employees. I'm not going to blame circumstances. If it really is legitimately a problem with one of my employees, guess what? I hired them. I trained them. I tolerated the behavior.
Yeah.
It's my fault.
Yeah.
And without that vision, without that passion, without that drive, without that incredible, insatiable desire to solve problems, without that risk-taker gene, if you don't have those kinds of things, there are great careers out there. Don't start a business and make a whole bunch of people's lives miserable.
Yeah. But it's part of the reason a lot of businesses don't make it past year 2, 5, 6.
Yeah.
There's burnout after a little bit.
The numbers are devastating. The number of people that, have an entrepreneurial seizure and say, I'm gonna let go of the vine and go do this. And for the people who match those traits and for the people who, really do have that drive and energy, that's great. That's the engine for creating jobs and opportunity in the world. But for the people who do it for the wrong reasons, they don't have those traits, and they think, oh, okay, this is just an opportunity to be my own boss, to set my own rules, but they don't want to deal with the responsibility of the decisions that they make from making their own rules. That's a shortcut to failure. It happens way too often.
Yeah, and there's I feel like some exceptions to that stereotypical burnout, because some people you're like, how are they still in business? After a decade, you're like, what?
Yeah.
And you have this many unhappy clients? What's going on here?
There are plenty of people who succeed in spite of themselves, but you're right, it's not going to be long term. Eventually there will be a ceiling that knocks them down.
Yeah.
And it's sad, and I'd hate to squash anyone's dreams, but at the same time,
know what you're getting into.
Yeah, if they're not dreams, they're just fantasies.
Yeah.
Then let's pop the bubble sooner rather than later.
I agree with that. No, yeah, for sure. People kind of need to feel the weight of what it is like to be a business owner. But people talk about, I think when I look at other educators, they talk about all the success stories, and they don't always talk about the moment where your head is on the floor, you've cried your eyes out that night because you don't know what's going to happen the next day.
Yeah.
I've been there. Maybe recently. But it's okay, let's keep going. Let's keep pushing. And when you see the vision and you believe in your own vision, you can get a team around you to believe in that vision, you're one step forward than your competition, for sure.
Another mistake I see a lot of entrepreneurs make, the vision is so vividly clear in their mind,
but not
they think
others.
it must be clear in everyone else's.
Yeah.
And so often it's not. And you need to simplify it, and you need to distill it. It needs to be, a handful of answers to questions. Everybody knows these are the answers to those questions. Core values I'd consider to be one of them. But it's what are we focused on? Where do we plan on being in 10 years? What's it going to look like in 3 years? How are we going to get there over the next year? Having those who's our target audience? Who is it that we want to spend our very precious sales and marketing dollars on, so that, lots of visionary entrepreneurs, it's I'll sell anything to anybody. You need people around you who say, no, we figured out this is the sweet spot.
Yes.
We were talking about that earlier.
Yes.
This is the sweet spot. This is where you're going to get the best bang for your buck. Yeah, it looks very lucrative. This over here looks shiny.
We have shiny object syndrome.
Yeah.
Gotta hone it in.
Yeah. Do you, and you're still the boss. If you want to follow that, we'll go. But you've asked me to point out to you whenever you start getting off focus, because visionaries, the people who start companies, the superpower they have is they can see things that other people can't. They see the big picture. They can see around the corners. Their Achilles heel, their weakness, is they can see things that don't exist. They're not there. And they need somebody around them to say, hey, Hannah, you're kidding yourself. This isn't real. You asked me to do that. Because you can get wrapped up in your own dreams very easily. You need a realistic counterpart there. The analogies abound. You got the wind and the sails and the rudder.
That's great.
I've heard gas and brakes. I don't like that one. I like gas and steering wheel. Just keep us on the road.
Yeah, it just keeps going.
Yeah.
It doesn't ever really stop.
Right.
Yeah, it's just how fast are you going to go?
You don't necessarily need brakes, but you do need a good steering wheel.
Yeah.
And with Christina, thank you. In the 3 minutes I've known her, she seems remarkably impressive just on her job. And everybody needs someone like that who can keep you on track, can question you, can call you out, can keep you focused on the short list of priorities. Because if you constantly focus on everything, then you burn out very quickly. I've heard said, that the sun bathes the earth with millions of watts of energy. And the very worst thing that could happen is you might get a sunburn. But you take the same kind of energy in a laser and you focus it on a pinpoint, and you can cut through steel.
Yeah.
That's how less is more for entrepreneurs. Don't be the sun, be the laser.
Be the laser.
Yeah.
Cool. We can also be a laser pointer though sometimes.
Gets attention more so.
Gets attention, yeah. I think on that regard, where Christina was last, I think she was incredibly underappreciated. And once you find the right person in your right seat, let them know how much you love them being there, because it just aches me to kind of hear some of these past experiences. And it's how did they not love you? You're so good at what you do. And I think we just don't always celebrate our own wins enough to even celebrate the wins of our team. And if we can at least give people small wins and let them know, hey, I appreciate you being here, or like a very specific, like, I love what you did on this project because of X, Y, and Z, and our client did da 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 da. Like, it's not just good job. It's like, I'm going to give you a very specific reason of why I think you've done a good job. I was told at a conference recently, you should never say the words good job ever again, because you're going to be way more specific now of how you show appreciation to your team.
Yeah. I see entrepreneurs make this mistake. They'll get wrapped up in getting stuff done, and that's really important. But spend time with your employees, quality time, real time, not just work time.
Yeah.
And spend time with your clients.
Yeah.
It's like, ask them for honest feedback. Ask them how you can be better, especially the ones that you trust, that are loyal. And you'll get an earful. And hopefully, it's at exactly the same time, I tell a lot of entrepreneurs this. It's like, ask for advice. Ask for advice from peers. Ask for advice from people who've been there before. Be willing to ignore it. It's like, not everybody's solution is right for you. You've got a good head on your shoulders. You're good at making decisions. Trust that energy that you've got. By all means, listen open-mindedly, but walk away if it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's so good. I think we can sometimes be afraid to even ask for it because we're afraid what they'll say about us. But it's good if, like, let's say it is quote-unquote negative feedback. There's a reason, right? So what was it, without taking it personally, that you could take from that to make the next person's experience better?
Yeah.
Right?
I've run into a lot of entrepreneurs. They, by definition, you have to have a lot of ego to do this. And ego is a powerful force because it motivates you, but it can be a weakness if you don't know how to let go of yourself. And I get this advice I give mostly to entrepreneurs in their exit planning. I've built a big business and now I'm going to sell it and I'm going to walk away from it. You've got to be able to let go of your ego. This business is not you. It is not your value. It was for a long time, but your goal in building it was to build something that was bigger than you. So you've got to get past the arrogance that this is at an exit. I know we're talking to a lot of early stage people, but
Yes, we are.
there is an
And
end to this road. And
there is.
Yeah.
And it's like, what will you do to plan for it?
Yeah.
And the roadblock I see is a lot of people name these businesses after themselves. I didn't do that because I could at least foresee before I started it, my name doesn't need to be in this if I want to eventually sell it.
Right.
I don't know who gave me that information. Divine? Like, I don't know what, but I called it Modern Memoir. I didn't call it Hannah McGinty Photo and Video. Like, I didn't do that. I did hands, film, and photo at the beginning, but I changed it because I was like, this is not evergreen. If I put, well, I guess like Hans, hands, like it could be, evergreen maybe, I don't know. But I think there's not as much personal connection to the words Modern Memoir. You could literally have a team with that, and you could exit as the CEO eventually, and then pass that on. It has a more exitable strategy than someone who's using their first last name and photography at the end of it. And I see that so often that they're like, oh, this is our personal brand. I will always and forever be a part of it. And that's the tough part about...
That's a lifestyle business.
It's a lifestyle. And then as soon as they're done, their business is done. And there's no exit strategy. It's closed and it's gone. And that feels like, this is harsh, but it feels like a waste.
Yeah. Well, I mean, early on, it sounds like you're doing it right. But early on, you've got to start getting used to getting over the arrogance that this place will fall apart without you. So you can get onto the ultimate arrogance, which is it can do just fine without you. It can turn into an asset outside of you.
Yes, build an asset. It's so smart. Because if you want to stop this generational poverty, build something you can sell so that your kids, even if they don't want to take it over or whoever you want to give it to or sell it to, you put it in a trust fund. I don't care. Just do something with it, then just close it. because you've spent maybe like 20, 25 years building it at that point. How much value does that business, what is that worth?
Yeah.
Right? So it's just like, it shocks
and don't get
me
me started on the statistics of inherited businesses. They are terrifying.
It's terrifying. Yeah, there's so many businesses that are gonna exit soon with the generational stuff I've heard from Cody Sanchez. Are you familiar with her?
I don't know that name, but
she talks a lot about business acquisition. So I'm not like a Alex Hermosi over here, guys, but I am interested in how can we apply that to the solopreneur world. What is going to make our businesses so enticing that someone will want to buy it, and how can we start preparing for that? Because that's not a thing. It's not been a thing for people in at least our industry. So I'm trying to think different. Like, if a pizza shop could do it, why can't we? Like,
and I think you can.
Yeah.
I mean, the assets that you're bringing to the table are going to be the processes that you put in place, the team that you've built around you that make you obsolete so that you can go on vacation and not check your phone, and the client base that's coming in,
Right.
that loyal group of people who are going to continue to buy, not from Hannah,
Yeah.
right, but from this great company that's been delivering all of these products and services. And I think very muchly so, creative industry can benefit from this. And no, it's not the norm, but why be normal? You know?
Exactly. No, I love it. Why be normal? You didn't get in this industry to be normal. Let's be real.
There's a joke that I tell a lot of times in EOS sessions, and it's aimed at the entrepreneur. Now, again, EOS is 10 employees and up usually. And the joke is an entrepreneur falls off the side of a cliff, about halfway down, grabs onto a vine, looks up, it's 100 feet, looks down, it's 100 feet to the jagged rocks below. Every entrepreneur knows this feeling. And those are those tears on the floor.
Yep.
But the entrepreneur develops a brief moment of religion and looks up to the sky and he says, is there anybody up there? To her surprise, a voice billows down from the sky that says, do you believe? The entrepreneur, of course, says, what the heck? Yeah, sure, I believe. The voice says, then let go of the vine. If you don't have the courage to let go of your business, to let go of the operations, to let go of the responsibilities in your business because you don't trust that anybody else around will get you there, then you're just going to hang on to that vine for the rest of your life. It's not a fun feeling.
It's not, but I have met a person that was willingly like that, though. And I couldn't convince otherwise. And it was interesting, for sure.
I don't want to judge people like that. If you value a lifestyle business, go ahead.
It's not for everybody.
There's nothing wrong with that. You can be very successful, but if in your heart you go, no, I want this to grow, I want it to become something big and something special and something that doesn't depend on me, it's going to require divorcing from the ego. It's going to require not having your name on the front door. You have to think less and less of yourself so that it can be more and more. You can get onto that ultimate arrogance.
No, I really love how you said that. That's so good. I think it's going to resonate with a lot of people who want to grow it. They just don't know how to get there. But hiring the right person in the right seat, you guys, that's the first step. It's how you start. So, Ray, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
For just sharing your wisdom with our audience. We're excited to have you for the workshop in December. So if you guys can sign up at filmbusinesscourse.com/workshop 2025. That's how you guys are going to find him. And you can click on his little picture. It's going to take you to his website if you want to learn more about Ray. How can they find you, Ray? Like, what's like the best way to?
I am on LinkedIn. The trickiest thing is my last name is spelled M-Y-E-R-S, Ray Myers. I show up relatively well in the Google searches too. So
yes, you do. He's like, I searched up your picture and I was like, he's everywhere. Great. And even our YouTube videos are like, yay, they're there.
Excellent.
So we're going to put Ray's LinkedIn in the show notes so you guys can just clink it.
We can clink it too.
Click it and, connect with him there. So thank you, Ray. And that is it for this episode. We'll see you guys again next Tuesday.
I'ma tell everybody I'm feeling like a brand new me. Brand new, brand new. Feeling like a brand new me, brand new me.
Outsmart the Hustle is produced by Book by Strategy, a film business course, hosted by Hannah McGinty and edited by Manuel Mesa. Follow us at Book by Strategy literally anywhere for more creative business tips.